Aw yeah, Rivers here with the new Nexus player. This player is made by Asus and powered by Google's Android TV software. It's a video player, Chromecast, game console, and voice search beast. So keep watching some cool tech while I show you how it works. Here it is, the new Nexus player. It's powered by Google's Android TV software, which is based on Android Lollipop 5.0. The hardware includes a 1.8 GHz quad-core Intel Atom processor, 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of flash memory, 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 4.1. Inside the box, you get the player, remote, power supply, batteries, and manual. If you look at my channel, you'll see that I review a lot of media players and remotes. I know that navigation is key to a good player, and the layout and functionality of this remote are excellent. Now the build quality of the remote feels a little bit hollow, but the functionality is really good. The remote runs on Bluetooth and the range is pretty good. I tested it from about 30 feet away and the navigation worked well. The remote is very responsive too. So much so that it can even be used reliably in gaming, especially for less complicated games. But my favorite thing about the remote is the voice search. In fact, it works so well I can see voice search becoming very popular on remotes and for smartwatches. But I'll go more into that in a few minutes. Before we go into the software, let's take a look at the player itself. Now it's a disc about 5 inches across and 3/4 inch tall. It's got a small LED on the bottom to tell you it's on. On the back, it's got 3 ports, power, USB, and HDMI. There's also a button on the bottom used to connect Bluetooth devices. I would have really loved to see Ethernet on here and an optical audio output. A USB port that could access an external hard drive would have been a great bonus. You can, however, attach a keyboard or mouse if you use an adapter like this. Now let's take a look at the software. So once you connect your device and configure the Wi-Fi and update it, this is what you're going to see. The first thing you'll notice about the user interface is that it's got nice graphics. The movement is really fluid and everything is animated. Whenever you move over a movie or an app, the icon zooms in so you'll know what's selected. Google really nailed it this time. I'd give the UI a 9.5 out of 10. This is exactly what I want to see on a media player. I used to have the old Google TV and it was painstakingly slow. This is zippy and fast and you never have to wait for anything when navigating, which is perfect. And speaking of navigation, the Nexus player has a really nice remote control app. It's very simple, but it gives you everything you need to control the player. The best thing about the app is the voice search. It's super accurate and it has better range than the remote control because it goes over your Wi-Fi network instead of Bluetooth. My voice search results came out accurate 90% of the time. After a while, I found myself wishing my computer had this voice search ability too. Actually, I think this is the key to smartwatches being successful too because it's so much easier to search with voice than text. Okay, let's test out the search on the new Nexus player. Sony 4K camera. Some cool tech on YouTube. How to tie a tie. Another nice thing you can do on the Android TV is, say you're playing a video like here on YouTube. Once the video starts playing, you can hit the home button and it'll bring you back to all the menus and apps. And then you can hit the home button again and switch back and forth. So you can be doing multiple things while you're watching the video. And also you can be listening to the video while you're navigating through the menus. This did not work on Netflix for me, but it does work on YouTube and Google Play Movies. Next up, Android Player actually replaces your Chromecast. So here I'm using the actual Chromecast app and just selecting the Nexus player. And I've got full screen mirroring here on my Galaxy Note 4. I found screen mirroring really useful for when you have, say, a few people over and you want to show them a location. Pull it up on your phone, but then they don't have to gather around your phone. They can just look on the big screen TV. So here I'm using Google Earth and exploring Las Vegas, and you can even jump right down into Street View and view what the streets look like, and everyone can watch on the big screen TV. You can also send video from your mobile device to the Nexus player, just like a Chromecast. So I've got YouTube videos queued up here. I can pick any video out of the queue and send it up to the player. I find this the easiest way to watch a lot of YouTube videos back to back on my big screen TV. Now let's talk about the UI and apps for a minute. So at the top you've got some of the recent movies from Google Play and also recently watched videos from YouTube. Down below you've got apps, you've got your Play Store, and here's a few of the apps I've installed. Netflix is working really nice on here. There's a version of Plex. There's some other things for watching videos, and there's of course Google Play. And this is where I think the Nexus player has a leg up over Apple TV, because you can choose apps to install and new apps can become available and you can just install the ones you want. Apple TV is actually a really nice player, but it has to update the firmware every time it wants to install new apps on there, and you have to have all the apps that they choose for you. I actually think the Nexus player is a little bit geared towards gaming because it has the most games available out of any apps. The games look really good and it's easy to play them because the controller, you just connect it with Bluetooth and it works. The Nexus player even let me connect a Bluetooth controller for the Amazon Fire TV, so I connected it up and played some games. So here we have Badland, which you can play with the remote or the controller, and it's actually a really fun little game with really good graphics. Next up I played some Asphalt 8, which is always fun and looks great on the Nexus player. I did lock up once during playing this. Then I played Despicable Me Minion Rush, which my kids love and actually is a lot more fun on the big screen TV. And finally a little Riptide 2 GP, which also worked great on here using the Amazon Fire controller. Still, I'd probably recommend getting the Nexus controller because I had one or two games like Goat Simulator that wouldn't play with this Amazon controller. The Nexus player has a few cons and a lot of pros. Cons include no Ethernet, no optical audio out, only 8 gigs of flash, and the voice search only works in YouTube and Google Apps right now. I think the pros outweigh the cons though, and those pros are the user interface is very nice, probably the best I've seen. You can install apps. Most apps work and look very good. Excellent voice search. The smartphone app is very good. Navigation is easy and looks good. Gaming is easy to set up, just connect the Bluetooth controller or use the remote and go. And the price is excellent. I'll add a link to where you can get the Nexus player along with everything that you saw in the video and complete list of pros and cons in the video description down below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that little like button down there. Thanks again for watching, and as always, aloha.